All right. Good morning, good day, good afternoon, wherever you are, guys. Welcome back to my channel. This is Practiphile. Um, Forgot my channel's motto. Late is the new update. Welcome back in here. So yeah, we are gonna do some budget sets today. I was not able to do my stream yesterday because we had a little bit of road trip. Um, went to a neighboring state. So it's not possible. It was not possible to do the live stream in the morning. But hey, I don't want to miss my live streams. We have sets to talk about. Budget sets specifically. I was waiting for the binary 1900s. Check. Yeah, but unfortunately, um, it's not. It's not here yet. It's still on its way. Last time I checked, it was in Chicago, and yeah, I was really looking forward to seeing that set. All right. Okay. Having said that, it doesn't stop us from um. Oh yeah, the postpone. Yeah, I usually do it Saturday, but sometimes I do it on a Sunday. But I had to let you know, guys know, because usually it's Saturday. Saturday morning my time, and I think Saturday evening your guys' time. Um, and then yeah, I just drove to a neighboring state. Went to Salt Lake City to eat ramen. How about that? Driving 5 hours just to eat a freaking ramen. Um, but yeah, that's what happened. Um, all right, so let's not take it long. If you have any, so today we're gonna talk about, what do we talk about today? We have, Loric, Pula Arc, um, yeah, I usually do this too. I usually do that this time. I just woke up. It's 7 o'clock in my time. Um, and then everything's fresh, like I didn't listen to anything heavy, because you know what? Your environment can alter your listening perception. Do you know that? Um, this was crazy. So this was way back in Japan. So I had I one of my favorite IMs. It's from Akustun. It's Akustun RS1. It's V shape. It graphs weird, heavy bass. There's a peak at 5K. It's just you wouldn't even believe why I would like that IM. Um, anyhow, so I listen to it every time I walk to the train station every morning. So every morning, it's it's like it's a bass heavy set. Boom, boom, boom. So and then I ride a train, and sometimes you know, I ride a train, listen to it, and then going back. So because at that time my job it involves a lot of talking, and so unconsciously you actually hear your like you hear your voice. So a lot of noise, and I just wondered every time I go back, that earphone just sounds neutral. Like there's just, I mean, not neutral bright, but it's just like there's just no bass. I'm like, how is this happening? And so I realized that your environment, what you do, alters your perception and sound. And it does make sense, Like for example, I listened to Martillo 1 week, and then after that I listened to after 1 week I listened to the Juice Fiesta after. Juice Ear Fiesta would probably sound kind of balanced relative to Martillo, you know. So that is already altering my perception. Even though the Fiesta is bass heavy, still it's on the ballpark of Martillo. But I assure you, Juice Ear Fiesta would sound less. I mean, they would probably sound close to neutral if I listen to them with 2 weeks time with Martillo. So that's my point. And having said that, so yeah, I was just thinking like during the day we're bombarded with different kind of noise, you know. At that time in Japan, you're with the train, just a lot of noise, and from my job that involves a lot of talking, and you know, you're hearing your voice unconsciously. So yeah, that's it. It's just it. So more going back, mornings are best for me to evaluate, hopefully to remove a lot of variables. And of course, I listen to neutral sets before this. Um, hey Adam, good morning. I'm gonna see Adam later to return his sets. Um, but yeah, where do I start? Where do I even start? So we have the Kefine Loric, Pula Arc, and we have the Geek World. Geek World Live. Geek World Live. So this is new. I know they're Geek World. It's my first time listening to their IM. It's my first Geek World. I don't even know. I mean, I think Eric and some other reviewers they get Geek World, but for me it's my first time trying this. And of course, we have the nice HEK T8. Was it T8? I forgot. But yeah, let's start. Now, where did I, oh man, I hate it when I forget where I put them. So, I know, okay, also, we have the Pula Arc, we have the, okay, where do I start? Do we start with the Arc, the Loric? The Loric is, how much is the Loric? Pula Arc. Both are budget sets. $25. Pula Arc is $25. Loric is, I think, around that price range too. Oops. Okay, fine. Loric. So Loric is also a bit 29, a little bit lower. So Pula Arc is more budget friendly. So which do I start first? Ola 2. You know what? I'll try to get Ola 2. Never really had Tanch Gym sets. But I'll try to contact their rep. If not, I'll just buy them. But good suggestion. I'm gonna do Ola 2. But I thought our brother Jay had already reviewed Ola 2, so I haven't seen the video yet. And one more thing, I watch reviewers, but if I haven't heard of the IM, I usually avoid watching their reviews. I really like to watch reviewers review, but I also don't want, that's one variable that will affect my evaluation on an IM. Graphs is unavoidable. You doom scroll on Facebook and you see the graph, and you know, I just try to avoid how do I say, getting hyped with the graph. Who's next? I don't know. Maybe the bodybuilder guy, if you know what I mean. The bodybuilder guy. Bodybuilder guy. Bodybuilder. His reviews are long, like 40 minutes. 40 minutes. All right, I'm gonna start with the Pula Arc. I'm gonna start with the Pula Arc first. All right, and this is what it looks like. Pula Arc in here. It's very simple. It's $25. It doesn't have a carrying case. So wait. Okay, there we go. All right. Does it zoom? Does it even zoom? Does it feel like it's zooming? Yeah, it's continuous. Anyhow. All right, this is the Pula Arc, guys. It is transparent shells. With just Pula faceplate. And then on the other side, it's Arc. Pretty budget. The cable is like KZ, but pretty clean. I was surprised. I didn't expect it was like transparent shells at first. But it's a single DD, price around $25. So I'm liking the fins in here. I mean, most fins really fit me well, except for very, very rare few. But I know some people, they have problems with fit. They prefer like the standard shell design other than like semi-custom fit. So this is the Pula Arc. All right. Fit is, ooh, yeah, that's what I thought, man. Fit is really good. Fit is really good. Almost similar to Affle, surprisingly. Affle, yes. Yep. All right, and then this is the stock ear tips. Let's look at what's in the graph first. Okay, what can we infer? Oop, not that one. All right, Pula Arc. Bihon cable. Yeah, Bihon cable. The Sivga is no. The thingy with the Sivga is, I'm gonna explain later. But anyhow, they sent me a U unit, which is commendable, very professional. And there's a change. We'll go to that later. But this is the arc in here. This is a good graphing set. What can you infer? Okay, what can we infer from the graphs? Come on, guys. Let's practice. Let's practice reading graphs in here. It's not the Holy Grail, but let's infer. What can we infer from the graphs? You tell me. What can you see? How will this sound? Let me know. All right, let's do some education here. What can we infer? I already have my thoughts, but I want to know what your thoughts are too. This is overlaying my balance target. This is not the Holy Grail. This is just how I feel a balanced sound should be. You know, a little bit of V-shaped kind of sound. All right. So, inferring from the graph, is this a bass headset? Is it a balance set? What? You tell me. Do DACs usually noticeably change the sound of an IM? For the people who know me, they probably know me already. I only, there are 3 sources that I can, there are 3 sources that I can noticeably hear. Normal delta sigma DAX. A normal delta sigma is like, you know, do your research what delta sigma is, but your normal DAX, AKM, Cirrus Logic, stuff like that. The next one is R2R, resistor to resistor ladder, and the last one is tubes. So I can hear the difference because apparently both have a little bit of impedance change. But yeah, other than that, there may be differences, but it can pass as placebo, even for me. Even for me. I mean, I can hear the difference, but it's not. I don't like to recommend people buying DAX because those are my imagination, you know? I'm imagining things, and my imagination might not work with your imagination. Okay? Let's just put it that way. I'm very honest about my imagination, so my imagination might not work with you. New haircut, yes. You know what? I waited very very long time to have a haircut just for Jace, just for that review. Because if I cut my hair short, then it's not Jay. You know, so I had to make it long. Too long, actually, too long. I was waiting for that green screen, man. Bought it in AliExpress because most green screens are expensive. Finally got one for like cheap, but the shipping is like almost 1 month, so over. I was waiting for weeks and weeks. It's the Pula Arc. Mid bassy for your taste. Not sure shouting mids because not that elevated. Okay, yeah. All right. So yeah, let's listen to this. If you have any songs that you know, songs to recommend, let me know. Um let me know if you have songs I want to try, but for now I'll probably Right, so what I can infer, it's the same thing. It's mid bassy. Um Very good actually. My politically. um no. There is a change. There is a change. Um and you're right. I am very politically correct and I am very safe about this because for me, there's a lot of things to the chain and I want people to learn a lot before they give in to DAX. And I know people are very very we easily give in to suggestions because we don't want to do our own research and it's easier that way. The point that I want to tell my viewers is if you're already in the level where you are already knowledgeable enough, you can spend the heck whatever you want. But I also want to be careful that there are viewers that are saving up, you know, and they want some change wherein there's so many things in the chain that can change the sound. One is EQ, one is PEQ. If you want to go deeper, players change, like a normal Android player, UAPP, Hybe, Shanling app, Neutron. The list just goes on. I hear the difference. And there's so many variables to it. Mood. But I do hear the difference, but it does not. Let me just say it that way. Most of the Delta Sigma DAC chips right now, they're good. Okay, they're good. They're clean sounding. I've measured most of them, and it just boils down to what you have because usually it's just really the power. And if you notice a difference, good for you. Good imagination. If not, even for me, I bought the freaking R2R. Even if I know that it might just be placebo in the end. Because this is so because I'm already at the point in the hobby wherein I don't blame people if I accept their imagination, you know? Like there are people who already want to spend. Okay? Now, are you that kind of person who wants to spend and not blame someone for your mistakes? I'm already in that level where in like, okay, I'm gonna believe this person. I'm gonna take his imagination and I'm gonna spend 700 bucks, and I'm not gonna blame him if I don't hear a difference. Okay? This is called irresponsible spending. Okay? And every hobby is like that. There is irresponsible spending. I'm seeing people with I I have a okay, I have a keyboard which is nice, but there are people who are collecting keyboards and it doesn't make sense to me. And maybe they're thinking of the same thing with the earphone hobbyist. You know, they have a lot of keyboards and they only have one earphone, like the 02, and they don't understand why the hell are we spending a lot of stuff. We only have two ears. So, different strokes for different folks. Q quarry in swimming. Isn't it similar to the pure? Good question. Yeah, I know. It will not sound. It will not sound the same. It will not sound the same. I've done it many times. I've experimented it. It just won't sound the same. So, is it similar with the pure? Probably close. Yeah, probably maybe warmer than the pure actually. This is warmer than the pure, but let's see. Yeah, doesn't look like pure. Pure is pure is dark. Almost dark. It's good with EQ. I like it with EQ. All right, let's have a listen here. There was a what was that suggestion? Try Q quadin swimming. Okay, let's try that. Q quadin. You know what? I want to do my Matchbox 20s first. I do my own stuff and then I listen to your recommendations because yeah, I'll do mine and then I'll do yours. All right, so here we go. We have all right. Matchbox 20. Where's the test? Anuel. Mid bass. Yeah, mid bass heavy. Very safe tuning. Yeah, very safe. This is hard to drive, man. Okay. Decent detailed retrieval. All right, let me try High Spring by IU for the treble. The treble is just okay. Very natural sounding, man. This arc will this is very smooth sounding, man. Mid bass is smooth. Yeah, natural vocals. I didn't hear any unnatural timbre. Under My Umbrella by Incubus. Let's do that one more time. Oop. Let's do that one more time. It's just a little bit too much mid bass, man. Yeah. The thing about this one here is it's good, but I feel like the mid bass is making the bass a little bit slower. It's like it's not heavy, but it's not that tactile. I mean, I like a tactile bass. I want a like tight bass, but it doesn't seem to have that. Let's try Playing God. And it's good, man. It's good. Okay. Just a little bit too. Okay. So I'm done with my songs, and let me throw in Adonis and Vesper. I don't think the gain on the Adonis and the Vesper, they're a little bit late. So this gain is actually pretty good. But on the Vesper, this is the Adonis, and this is with the Vesper. Yeah, a little bit different. Maybe the Vesper is closer to that, but yeah, I prefer the gain on the Arc, Pula Audio Arc. So, all right. What was that song? Q Quad in Swimming. All right, let's try that. Q Quarin. Swimming, was it? All right. Japanese song in here. All right. I thought it was Indian. Okay. this Wow, this is a very fast BPM. That's yeah. You know what? Is this Vocaloid? Um J-pop would really benefit with less mid bass. Yeah, J-pop would benefit with less mid bass. Because usually they have high pitched song. I mean high pitched song, high pitched voice. This one here you have to crank up the volume to appreciate that. Yeah, it's Vocaloid, right? No. I'm not saying to test it for vocals, but I was just feeling that it's best because what's happening with the Pula Arc is the vocals can get a little recessed with this, and so you have to crank up the volume to kind of like enjoy everything. But once you crank up the volume, you end up increasing everything as well. So, you know. Instrument separation, it did have that instrument separation in the beginning. It felt like, oh, that was a little bit wide. However, the Pula Arc does not have it. only in the beginning, but once the song gets really really busy, it becomes this just one blob of everything because of the mid bass. So the mid bass is the hindrance in the Pula Arc. It sounds natural. Okay, you know what? Let me try Yorushika songs in here. Or no, I'm gonna try the worst. The worst is my test track for 3D stage and some separation. But I just have to wait for a few minutes. Man, it sounds it's really it sounds good, really. Um it it is very natural sounding, man. Like timbre wise, this is perfect. That I was wondering that. I was actually wondering to do the same thing, Fluff. I was wondering to do -2 on 200 hertz. I was actually wondering to do that. And no, it will fix it. I know it will fix it. Yeah. All right. Yeah. It is good. It's just that just a little bit intrusive on the Genesis Foxtrot Super's ready. Okay, let's do that, and then let's switch to Genesis Fo um Genesis Foxtrot Super's ready. Supper's ready. Super's Super's ready. Supper's ready. 2000. Okay. Okay. Official audio. All right, let's do this for vocals. No, I'm expecting this is good. This is gonna be good in vocals. All right. Oop, not this one. Yeah, vocals are good. Yeah, I can understand why this is tested for vocals. Okay, yeah, they're natural. Me personally, I test Yorushika for vocals. Sui has a very her vocal range is crazy. She can go low to high, and you know that if you listen to Yorushika, different voices, right? So I test her for that. I mean, the best situation would probably be being able to hear her live so that I can really, I'd know what her real voice is. But for vocals, the best way to test vocals is really to your own voice. That would be great. Or if an artist that you've heard for your reference, your voice is the best, of course. If you get a good recording, record your voice. I have some few tracks from my band before, but I don't trust that recording either. So, anyhow, let's move on to Loric this time. Pula Arc is okay. It's just, let's just say it's okay now. There are some good points about the IM, but it's hindered by its mid bass. It's a little bit too much. It reminded me of one IM though. It reminded me of one expensive IM. But yeah, I know it will shine more if with EQ, with what Fluff said. -2 dB, 200 hertz with Q low shelf. All right, let's do the Loric in here. Kefine Loric. Man, this is good. If you add $4 more and maybe on sale, I think this is on sale too. I think the rep mentioned about this one here with an early bird price, but I'm gonna verify on that. Let's see here. 24, yes. So retail is 29, and early bird price is $24. So around the same price as the Arc, but man, these are built better than the Arc. If the Arc is good, these are built a little bit better. The plastic is a little more, how do I say? Kind of like mecha with these like edges. They look more modern. They don't have the they're still transparent, but they feel better. They kind of like look better as well. Feels better in the hand as well. Better cable. So, and then you've got a carrying pouch in here. Because again, man, like the standard for packaging is the Warner SG. It's hard to beat that thing. Good cables, Sankai ear tips, good. How do you even beat that? So this is a little, this has it a little bit. Good cable as well. So this is nice. They have a pouch in here. So this is nice. It comes with these cables. Yes, it comes with these cables. So, right, Loric. It looks good. You know what? Let me change I'm gonna change the ear tip. This is wide bore. They come with 2 sets of ear tips, wide bore and regular bore. So I'm gonna use the regular bore for now, or maybe I can change it later. But yeah, package wise, it's already a win for the Loric. All right, it's already a win for the Loric package wise. All right, and then let's infer from the okay, sorry about that. Fit. Okay, let's check the fit. It doesn't have it's not custom shape, but fit is good. K-Fine's good. Even if they don't have like those fins, they still fit really good. These ones. Probably this one's a little bit better than the Arc. Yeah, this one's a little bit better, I feel. Oh, hey, Draco, thanks. I was waiting for Jay's. I was waiting to film myself for that haircut. Because if I cut, if I had a haircut before my first shoot my video, it's hard to convince people I'm Jay, right? So, okay, so let's do the graph. What can we infer from this? Loric, what can we see in here, guys? Yeah, what do you see in the graph? Let me remove Adonis. Oh, this is, I think I forgot to show Adam about the Adonis and the Vesper. So this is what it looks like with the Vesper. This is the Arc and the Vesper. So base is kind of like the same, but Adonis has better separation, I tell you, and Vesper too. So there's that. So that this is the Loric, guys. What can you infer from the graphs? You don't like the Wanner? That's fair. It's fair. Did you prefer more? Maybe you prefer a cleaner one. It can be shouty though. And right now, I mean, the tuning is really good on the Wanner, but I feel like there are more technical sets. And when I say technical, like metal shells, they seem to sound better. Um, but yeah, what can we infer from Loric in here? It's reminded me of their Clean, the original Clean. Yeah. Remind me of their Clean. So I don't know if it's, I'm pretty sure they say it's, an upgraded driver, but yeah, it probably sounds like the Clean. But the Clean has two, interchangeable filters. Um but maybe it's hard to say, man. But this is kind of like a V-shaped balance set. The vocals sound thin on the Wanner. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's a lot. Is it the the original Wanner, or is it because they have a studio version and they have the Red Lion. They may have changed the drivers too, man. Like, these companies sometimes they do silent revisions. All right. So for me, the Loric is, yeah. This is I'll be worried about the 4 to 5K peak if you're sensitive to that. If you have younger ears, I'm not too worried about this. Plus, doesn't have a wide peak past 10K. Yeah, I know. So I know you'd be worried about that because if you're sensitive to that, that's a no already. You see, you're saving yourself some money, guys. If you just know where you're sensitive at, if you learn from your mistakes, looking at the graph, it's, you're done. You don't need to buy it. You don't even need to be in my stream anymore. Oh, just the red lion. Or probably I don't know, maybe the filters or something. So that's what I can infer from Loric in here. I didn't have that problem with the red lion I had though. Surprisingly. Or maybe I didn't test it enough, but um I don't know if there's some QC issues going on. There's a possibility for that always. All right. One or two. Okay, let me listen to this now. We have Unwell by Matchbox 20. Kefine Loric. Yeah, it's decent V-shape, U-shape kind of sound. This already has better clarity than the Arc, mainly because it has boosted 4 to 5K region. Oh, okay. The arc actually had better detail retrieval. That's interesting. Let's try the treble here. High Spring by IU. Treble is decent. Yeah, it's not too peaky because again, it's if you compare it with the clean has like this wide energy in here that's like occupies almost from 10k to 20 hertz. If you see that, so this is some energy in here compared to the Loric wherein just it looks like just a like just a burst of energy and it goes down. So it doesn't really have a lot. It tries to focus its presence in the presence area. It tries to boost that area in here. So everything can come off really clear, but it it doesn't really have that air, if that makes sense. Let's try Under My Umbrella by Incubus. Yeah, s- so okay. I feel like I like the treble better, the smoothness of the treble better on the arc. It's not as natural on the Loric. It's not as natural, but the bass on the Loric is tighter than the arc. So I like the bass on the Loric, but the arc's treble I prefer. So looking at it, they're actually just pretty much the same, but maybe the difference is around in this area that's making it a little bit tighter on the Loric. Plus the added energy in here. Okay. All right, let's try playing God. Hey, thanks. It's just live listening. So I feel like this has better separation than the arc. Um yeah, this is yeah, okay, let me try your suggestions in here. I think there was a suggestion before. Let's see. Atri OST. Okay, let me try the Atri OST Dear Moments. The ultimate test for shout, or let me test that shout in there. Atri OST Dear Moments. We're gonna try if dear. Oh my god, dear. All right, let's see. Oh no, not this. Yeah, it has better separation. Um, and much clearer. Of course, it's understandable because of that energy in there. Let me listen to the shout. Wait, is she gonna sing? Or maybe maybe this is not the right, um... I don't know if I'm looking at the right track, but... Okay, yeah, this what it's very good separation for now on this track. Her vocals are very center. So, but dude, I have a bias at 4 to 5K because I'm not sensitive to this area, but I know people are. But how I would know that this is too much is usually the cymbal timbre. The our harmonics are not correct with some cymbal strikes. It doesn't come off shouty for me. Yeah, it doesn't come off shouty to me. I test Celine Dion shout like all by myself, and personally I like a little bit of shout because I want to feel the power of their energy, and then with shout it's been mastered to it's hard to EQ actually. Belt is hard to EQ because there's gonna be some unnecessary harmonics in the voice that comes with it. Especially with the breathing part. I mean, again, we're already listening to songs that we're already listening to songs that are EQ'd, right? But when belting, there's a lot of things that are unnecessary, like the inhalation before the belt. That is actually very noticeable. They do that, and sometimes, do you know but sometimes it's a lot of Japanese have been EQing it differently recently. If you know, dang it, Reona. If you know Reona, it's fun the way they record her voice. They actually include her inhalation, like like that. They don't remove it. A lot of mixers they find it really annoying, but in her case, that is her character. That is her. I don't know. Like that's what makes her Riona. You know, those heavy panting and breathing. And she's shouty with the wrong earphones too. Riona. But she sounds like a Care Bear. I don't know if it's Vocaloid, dude. But yeah, I mean it's a thing. A lot of people listen to these songs like OSTs. But I mean Dracomas probably knows about this, like with the inhalation part when when mixing voices, they actually reduce that a little bit because it can get annoying. Some people inhale pretty loud, especially when they sing, because when singing they're nervous, and they're anxious and their inhalation is just very apparent, and they had to lower that down. But the thing is, when you lower it down too much, you're gonna reduce the other harmonics too, because it's high pitched. You know, sometimes it can go high pitched. If you lower that down, you're gonna remove a lot of harmonics in the voice, making the sound a little bit too dull. So there's a little bit of adjustments needed in there. Reduced by 10 dB. I know, but yeah, that's just what I thought about Shout. So going back to Shout, why did we arrive here? Yeah, because of Shout. So I don't mind Shout because sometimes on good recordings they actually incorporate that. They don't want to reduce the shout too much because it will remove the emotions, okay? And when you're listening to live performances anyway, when people belt on a certain note like a C5, is it? Yeah. It's intense. They're intense, and you're supposed to feel that intensity. And I know a lot of people can't take it, but for me personally, I like Shout. So there's that. All right. Let's do next. 10 dB, dude. That's too. Let's do the Q. This is, like Dracomies like this a lot. And I understand where he's coming from. I really understand where he's coming from. So this is the second unit of the Sivga Q or Chue. And the crazy thing about the Sivga Q is they're priced around $76, $98, or maybe even cheaper depending on it's an overall package. It's I really like the overall package. It has good carrying case, which is, like leatherette. I know it's not real leather, but the cable, man, I really like the cable on this. It's just really nice. For its price, it's a very nice cable. It's hard to beat. I don't know if there are cables under $100 that feel like this. It's just really nice. The build is good. And it just uplifts your emotion. The Sivga Q just uplifts your emotion. And you feel like, oh my god, I spent $70 for this. It's so good. The build quality is good. But then again, this is the second, right? And then I messaged the rep about, like, is this the real tuning that you intended? Let me know if this is the real tuning, because if it is, I'm gonna go ahead and give my review. And then I showed the rep the difference on my measurement to other reviewers, and so they sent me a new Sivga QA. So this is how they measure. All right. So this is the original Sivga that I've got. In blue. Look at that, man. Like, this it's just filtered. There's no filter in there. But even if they don't have a filter, they actually have bass. They reminded me of the heart mirror a lot. So even if there's no filter, I'm not sorry, there's not a lot of bass in the graph, they actually have more bass. Now this is the sample 2 that I have now. So they have bass now. They have bass. And so I'm expecting it to balance out the overall tuning in here. So I don't think that the filter problem is on the nozzle. Let me show you again. Because I think last time I told you about the nozzle, the vent filter has the circle black thing, and you can clearly see that on the Loric in here. There's that circle ring. So that if you buy filters on Amazon, if there's a circle ring, that is for the vent. If it's just 350 mesh, if it says 350 mesh, just clear with no ring, that is for the nozzle. Nozzle filter without black, and then with circle ring for the vent. And is it the same with the Pula Arc? Yeah, it's the same thing. If every transparent set. So I feel like the problem with the Q was the vent problem, because if it was the nozzle filter, then it would have changed the gain. What I mean by that is it would change the 5K peak in here. It will change the slope in this area right here. So the vent gives the bass, and then the nozzle shapes the ear gain. Okay, this is just for you guys who want to go deeper into modding your earphones. The vent holes change the bass, and the nozzle change the form of the gain. So yeah, because I had to ask them, like, is this really the tuning? Are there any silent revisions? Because I understand it really does sound really good, and I just felt like, oh man, this is not the right balance that everyone was talking about, the Q. So let me give this a try again this time, and I'm expecting this one to have a better balance now. Actually, looking at the graphs alone, they're already good. So let's try here. And well, by Matchbox 20. Yeah. Yeah, these definitely, these are better balanced now. Yep. Yep, I like this one. You just kind of know, like, even Dracomis, you ask him. I mean, we're not trying to brag about listening to many earphones, but you can just tell what a good driver. Like, with all the earphones that we've tried, in the first few minutes, you just can tell this is a good driver. Or I don't even know if there's a scientific evidence, if like domes or whatever materials they use. You just know that is a very capable driver. And we're not trying to brag about it. It's just something you kind of like, I don't know, like something you unlock when you've listened to too many stuff. And you kind of like know, like, this sound isn't supposed to be in this price range. You just kind of like you get that feeling like this sound isn't supposed to sound. And at the same time, you kind of like understand as well how the pricing goes. And if you've seen Chronicle's video on his Monolith and Kingtone, the Kingtone, the DD factory, the biggest DD factory in the world. Yeah, I know. This is good for $60. Do you really think those big companies are ripping you off with different driver prices? Because Kingtone, they have budget drivers, they have mid drivers, they have expensive drivers. Do you really think, in your honest opinion, these companies that make DDs, do you really think that a budget driver that they're selling and an expensive driver that they're selling doesn't really make a difference? It's hard to believe that, and I don't agree on that notion. There is a reason why their products are expensive. Similarly to Sonyans and Knowles, there's a reason why some of their BA models are more expensive than others. I don't want to go deeper into the reason why. It could be because, again, one reason is it's hard to manufacture. One could be the frequency that they're trying to achieve. Maybe it's a smoother or maybe it can it does for DDs, maybe it doesn't really fluctuate as much when in higher, when you know it when in the higher frequencies like past 10K. And in order to achieve that, they may be using like a more rigid dome or a more rigid diaphragm or whatsoever. And in order for that diaphragm to be manufactured, maybe it requires a little more extensive process. I do not know. But my point is, an expensive driver, there's a reason why drivers are expensive. That's just my point. There's a reason why. Yes, exactly. That's my point. Yeah, they have more tolerance in higher frequencies. That's my point. And you just hear it. You hear it. It's like, man, this driver is very capable, you know? And there's a reason why they're expensive, because maybe in the first place they need sturdier materials to build that, you know. And it's the same with BAs, nulls, and I know they have a raw measurements for those BAs. If they're cheap, it's just really spiky, and if it's really spiky, you end up dampening them too much. You know what I mean? You dampen them with different filters. Compared to like if you buy a more expensive nulls, then maybe you don't need to dampen them as much, and so in turn there is less unit variance because the tuning was already done with the model and not you doing the filters. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of nuance to that, but that is just my analyzation why there are expensive IMs. It's because they bought expensive materials to begin with. All right, let's continue here. I'm gonna do The Worst. Let's try The Worst by Polyphia. So yeah, for $60, man, the Sivgia Q is definitely up there. It grabs a little bit peaky and wavy. But I feel like the driver is very quick anyway. Oh man, like the separation in this is amazing. Yeah, AG280 is good. You keep it there. Man, this is amazing. Yeah. Um yeah, this is definitely better than the previous one. The thing about the Q is sometimes you kind of like check if you're getting a good seal, because sometimes the stage proportion is too real. I'm not even know if I'm making a lot of sense. It's like I check the seal because sometimes you would notice that the stage can get wider if there's leak, right? Um I know it doesn't make sense. But yeah, it's definitely good. This is the one that I'm gonna review. For $60, this is amazing. The Sivga Q is amazing. However, this is the sad part. It's, you know, like we saw, you know, there's QC, you know, there's QC, there's risks involved. And that's why it's so I'm kind of like on the fence of recommending them, but not, because there's QC. How do I even start with that, you know? Like, is it just a one-time thing? Is it the whole batch? Is it a silent revision? I do not know. That's the tricky part to navigate in tricky part to navigate in this hobby. There are QC issues, and that's why if you're gonna spend, and if you feel like you're gonna spend more in the hobby, if you're gonna keep buying IMs, I highly suggest you get a coupler. Just for those reasons, you don't need to be like a hard objectivist guy. It's really just to protect yourself, like if you feel like there's something wrong, you measure it, send it to the seller like, hey, my unit has channel imbalance, or my unit doesn't graph. I'm gonna return it. If you're in the US, there's a very good return policy in here, which I really appreciate. You can return things on Amazon, man. Like, I feel sorry for the sellers because I'm pretty sure there are sets or like any item that gets returned. But at the same time, it's nice. It's nice to return stuff. We've returned stuff, many. At first I felt like it was inappropriate at first, but the more we return stuff, the more we appreciate um um appreciate it. It's kind of like we don't have a lot of buyer's remorse in here because you can return them. It's crazy. Yeah, Defiant is, I don't like the Defiant. EG280, I feel like you keep it there, bro. Just yeah, yeah, I know. FR is strange too. For the EG280, you keep it. Maybe there are good sets. Why do you even have to upgrade? Um, it's still good though. Like, you don't have to, if you like it, you don't have to upgrade really. All right, next one is I'm gonna do. Okay, I'm gonna do the what do I have? Oh, the Nice Hack NX8. No, I forgot to graph this, but I'm gonna do an experiment. My experiment is I have an emotional attachment to my measurements, because it's my measurement. So I feel like I have my own bias. Like, I believe my measurements, and I also look at other measurements, but I feel like I need to measure it from my rig because I know I kind of like, I already have a connection to how it's graphed and how it will sound to my ears. Um, yeah, I know. I know. Returns are very good, man. But at the same time, you see a lot of overpriced stuff in there, man. Like, you're buying things that are priced $2 on AliExpress, and they're selling it for like 15, and like, yeah, I'm just gonna return it. It's so overpriced in there on Amazon, I tell you. Okay, so this is my experiment in here. I have the NX8, which I have not graphed. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna be in your shoes looking at other people's graphs. Okay? I'm gonna be in your shoes because I don't have my own measurements. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna look at other people's graphs with the NX8, and let's start from there. I may measure it later, but let's see. I'm in your shoes. Example, if you don't have a measuring rig, what can I infer? You know what? Let's do that now. All right, so NX8, right? So let's see who has NX8 in here. So we have Crin. Is it the TI titanium? I don't think. It's probably just the NX8. So we have earphones archive in here. I know, cable is thick. This is a 5128 measurement. I'm not really... There's channel imbalance. I cannot... No, I don't like to read 5128. I know they're accurate, but I'm not used to reading that. Let's do Let's do Hana. All right, let's do Hana here. So inferring from here, it looks like an AFL tuning with like low gain. Some bass. It looks like AFL. It looks like 242. 242. No, he doesn't have 242. Does he have AFL? Yeah, he has Performer 5+2. Yeah, look at that. Looks like AFL. So kind of like have an idea, right? All right. So, but this one in here, there's a coupler peak. All right, that's for Hana. So kind of like 5+2 AFL sign. Hobby Talk. Let's do Hobby Talk. Hobby Talk's graph is yeah, I know his rig. His rigs are usually lower from 6 to 15K. It really graphs low in here. And yeah, well, let's see. 5+2. Yeah, it doesn't really show a lot, but it looks like it's kind of like 5+2-ish. All right, what else? Super reviews. Okay, let's look at Mark's rig is a little bit, yeah. Okay, let's do okay, let's do Mark has a lot. This 5+2. It really looks like 5+2. Isn't just this interesting. This is the reference for reference. So there we go, right? Just looking at reference as a reference. It doesn't have a 3K peak. Yeah, it's 5+2. It's a lot of like 5+2. Now, I'm a little bit concerned about the past 10K energy in here, man. The 5+2 was so... I didn't like that. The resonance... Okay, so I'm looking for... Because this is from JTIS. So, I'm gonna look at his measurements. Where's JTIS? Okay. Is this even the TI? Oh, this is just the NX8, I guess. Do they graph the same? Is this even the titanium? Oh, this is the TI. Okay, so this is the TI, okay? All right, so this is JT's graph. Sorry about that. All right, so it's much cleaner. I think it's much cleaner. Oh, God, NX8. So they have the TI version in here. I think it's... No, it's Speaker. It's Speaker on Mark's rig. All right. Now for JT's though, so I sent him the resonance 5. It might actually graph close. Just the resonance 5. I know, dude. JT's is like, he has a lot. IEMs that other reviewers didn't graph. He doesn't care if it's a budget. He doesn't care. He's got Mystic Craft. He has a lot. He has a lot of... And Akros would have been... Poor guy. He has a lot of sets. Probably even more than JT's. At his time, at his peak. But the poor guy just cannot handle coding, man. Like, he's asked Mark, but the coding stuff is just really too much for him. The squig stuff is just really too much for him. He didn't understand what, you know. There's a lot of things about I said like, nah, I'm just gonna... If he was just able to publish... He's got all the geek worlds and all the IMs that are not... People don't even know. and but yeah, he doesn't have a squig because the coding and everything is just a little bit too much for him. I know. But that's him, you know. Sometimes he put his IMs on his blanket with some background noise from his phone. I like the guy. I like the guy a lot. He's very compelling too. Like when you listen to him, like if you like really listen to him, he's very compelling. All right. So I'm getting like Affleish kind of sound in here. So this is what I can infer from the graphs, okay? This is me comparing if you like Affle sound. If you like Affle sound, would you like to buy nice HEKTA, what was this? NX8 Ti price. 399. $400, man. Would you buy it? That's, you gotta audition this. Like, I mean, if you the Errand Resonance 5 is, you can buy this for $200, so almost twice as much. Almost twice as much. I know, almost twice as much. $60 on one drop shoot. You know what? And when I commit to watching Acros, it has to be me going to sleep. I like during the day I cannot commit watching him. Like when I look at his videos 40 minutes, no, I cannot commit watching. It has to be going to bed. All right, let's try this one in here. Very thick cable, by the way. This is what it looks like. Very thick cable. I think it has the similar thickness as their, what was that? What was that? Rockies. Yeah, but just a different color. Acros is the only justification why AI is good. I copy his run, put it in Gemini, and say summarize, please. Oh, does Gemini already summarize his videos? I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I thought at first, like, I asked ChatGPT and Gemini, they said they cannot watch videos. Or maybe it's because of the script. Yeah, maybe because of the script, they're able to, at least... Oh, Gemini does? Yeah? Oh, that's interesting. Ooh, I didn't know that. It's probably because of the script. Run in 2x speed. But Acros is, yeah, he's great. All right, let's try this one in here. Titanium, NX8 Titanium. Please summarize, this man's rumbling. Okay, Unwell by Matchbox 20. Oh, that's loud, freaking hell. I think this has microplanars, right? I didn't even look at the specs, man. What was it? Nice. HEKNX ATI. I think this has yeah, 1 DD6BA, 1 piezoelectric. 1 DD6BA and 1 PZT. I thought it has a planar, so 1 piezoelectric then. I can already feel the Oh yeah, okay. Nice detailed retrieval. pretty balanced for now. I'm worried about like how this PZT or piezoelectric would handle cymbal. So I'm gonna try Under My Umbrella by Incubus here. Yeah, they're forward. I would say they're crisp. You know, they're not the most natural cymbal timbre, but I know there's a market for this. And the market for this are people who are probably 40 years old, 50 years old, 60 years old. They're very crisp though. The treble is very crisp. I don't mind it, but I feel like you can get this sound with the Errand Resonance 5. All right, I'm gonna A/B this with the Errand Resonance 5. It's good sounding, but for God's sakes, 399? You know, like, holy dang, that's a lot. I have and there's so I talked about this before. The more expensive the IM is, I correlated this with because this hobby is expensive, right? And so the more expensive the IM is, as you've noticed, the more they increase the treble, it's because more and more people can afford. It's like they're targeting people who are already retired, like, you know, like veterans. Oh my god. Which makes sense, you know? Which makes sense. These are not cheap. Okay, these are not cheap. And so if you're selling an IM with like $500 to 1,000, who would buy this? You have to look at the demographics, okay? And usually people who can afford buying these IMs are the ones that are financially stable. A family at my age, I'm like in the late 30s, no one's gonna buy an IM. It's better to just spend that money on my kids or whatever, education and stuff. Or maybe depends on your financial status, but then again, you have to look at the demographics, okay? And most people who can afford to waste their money is, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. They're, at least they've researched their target demographics, because that is part of, you know, that's part of business. You have to know who you're selling the IMs for. And so the more expensive it is, you will see that the treble is also a little bit higher. But for the younger generations, when they go on an audition, that they say like, no, that's crap, because of course that's not tuned for them. They are not the target demographic of the IM, which is understandable. I understand that in a business perspective. Why would you, you know, like, and because we get hearing loss. It's natural when we go in our 40s and 50s. It's natural that we hear little less in the upper treble. So, which is fine for me. All right. Oh. All right. Let's I'm gonna try this with Resonance 5. So this is Resonance 5. Yeah, it's as good. It's so hard to justify the 399, man. I mean, I'm not saying the NX8 is bad, but it's just so hard to justify this sound if it's present, this kind of tuning. And when I say tuning, it's not like the overall signature, but it's just the balance, you know? Like um it's good. It does have that kind of like character to it. Um but for 399, I mean, we're already in this time of the hobby we're in. It's, you know, there's so many good sounding sets. Um Man, I have to. Yep. I would say it's a well implemented PZT. It's not as peak as I thought. They actually have good resolution. Um so you know what? Bear with me. I really want to measure this. So let's do a live measurement, but I'm gonna be um I'm gonna do it really, really quick. Because I want to show you how it measures in my graph. I'm only gonna do the right. And so um very quick, guys. All right. I did it as fast as possible. Okay, so all right, I graphed it, and let's see here. So squigs, nice HEK, NX8R, um, NX8 Ti. Right, so it's pretty, again, this is actually a very good, looking graph. And I was reading Dracoma's comment, like, I'm not saying this is bad, translation is bad. It's badly priced. I'm saying is you can get this sound like with the arete. Arete is $250, the original arete. Um, all I'm saying is, like, I don't even know why you would get this IM. There are already good sounding IMs, even at cheaper. I don't find a good upgrade path for this IM. You know what I mean? It's like it's a decently good IM. I cannot fault it, but at the same time, why would I buy this? If you already have good sounding sets, why would I buy this? I can't find a reason why you would buy this other than, like, it's a TI version or it has piezoelectric. It's not a bad IM. It's probably just badly priced. If it was $300, maybe yes. $250, it's a steal. But for $399, or maybe it's like the complexity on how they make it. The piezoelectric drivers are hard to, I don't know, manufacture or something. When am I going to Japan? It's a cushion of someone had bought this. Yeah, they'll probably enjoy this set. Yeah, they'll probably enjoy this set. And they'd probably say it's good. I didn't really find. You know what? I'm gonna listen to this. Okay, saying for example, I bought this. Okay, I bought this set for $399. Okay, I'll try to imagine as much as possible that I bought this set. Okay. Does this sound, do I feel happy about this purchase? And I'm gonna listen to my favorite songs. I'm gonna listen to, who do I listen to? Listen to, alright, Yorushika. Alright, let's see. Will I be happy with this purchase? Yeah, I'm happy with my purchase. I'm happy with my purchase. Okay, the best thing about the the NX8 Ti is probably vocal presence. It's probably vocal presence. Okay, let me listen to some older songs in here. Yeah, it's okay. Let me listen to some older songs. And when I say older songs, it's uh if you listen to Michael Learns to Rock, like Sleeping Child. Michael Learns to Rock, dude. Now I bought this, okay? I'm imagining if I bought this. Yeah, I probably say it's the vocals, man. How about Air Supply here? Lost in Love. Let's. Okay. All right. Final thoughts. Ah, I see that it's already. Now I know it's all subjective in here. Um, and I know it's fun to do this. It's fun to do this. It's really just for fun. It's everything is perfectly valid in here. Um, and okay, moving back to the NX8. If you like good vocals, it really so one thing that struck me with the NX8 is it's the vocal clarity. One of the sets that I really like in its price range is the Hype 4 Mark II. I really like the vocal clarity on that one and like the realistic, but it's a little more expensive. I'd probably choose the TI for that. Yeah, I would probably choose the NX8 for that. It has better vocal. So if you're looking for vocals, it's probably the one to get. But I know this, you know, this is a little bit premature. I still need to listen to it more, but you know, when I review sets, I look for character. What would make you reach for that IEM? You know, you don't want to have a set that sounds similar to already what you have, you know? And that's the essence of collecting IEMs, and that's the essence of collecting in general, you know? Like if you're collecting keyboards, you're collecting guitars, there needs to be a reason why you bought this in your collection. Okay? Because this one has a certain character that others that doesn't. So the NX8 captures that kind of vocal emphasis that is really nice. The treble is a little bit, I'm still in a mixed bag. It's maybe just the ear tip, but if you wanna have a good vocal IEM and you have 399 look reviews, this is a good vocal set. All right. But the thing about subjectivity and objectivity is again, I know there is an objective measurement, you know, and we can objectify everything, we can measure everything. But it's still gonna be interpreted subjectively anyway. The best way is the best way to navigate this hobby is to know your journey. Okay? So everyone has a different journey. Unfortunately, you are gonna have to spend to start your journey. And I know a lot of people don't want to spend and they just want to go shortcut, okay? But you will know eventually. If you've already reached in the hobby, if you already bought IEMs, you already know where you are heading, you know? You already accepted the fact that you're going to spend. And it's just a matter of, are you going to regret what you bought or not? You already know where you're heading. You're a bass head, yeah. You like this, yeah. You like collecting, yeah. You don't mind. You're saving stuff. You are already invested in this hobby, and you don't mind spending. I myself spent. I bought an R2R. Did I blame someone if I heard a little bit of difference? No, because I already know I'm gonna spend. Now, how much you spend depends on, of course, how you assess your journey in this hobby. If you feel like you can only spend this much, then good. Um, you regret how you started this hobby big time. Yeah, exactly. So you know your journey. You probably already know what your preferences are. We are already at the time of the hobby wherein people are already kind of like understand how graphs work. 3 years ago, 4 years ago, where Squig was still new, a lot of people were like, no, graphs are not, blah, 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 blah. But right now, the reviewers are already almost always referring to graphs, and people are slowly understanding how to read them. And I don't trust graphs entirely until I listen to them, because again, it's like the menu. Look at the menu, look at the food. You kind of like, oh, okay, this is what's gonna sound like. But on listening, there's those little nuance that it's so hard to how do I say, it's so hard to deliver to you guys. Like, because again, it's all imagination. It's all in my head. How am I even gonna let you guys know this is good? Um, and there's also the what, like, I don't even know. Like, there's also reviewers who have a different journey. Reviewers have a different journey. Dracomius has a different journey. He has his own goal on his channel. I have my own goals on my channel. HBB has an own goal on his channel. Mark has an own goal on his channel. So there's a lot of variables to it. Um, and a lot of people upload a lot because, like, maybe they earn a lot on YouTube. I don't earn. I mean, I earn, but it's like $100 in like 3 months. That's like 3 hours of work for me. 4 hours of work. So I don't really mind. So my focus in my channel is not earning. Okay, I'm not here to earn. I'm here to like this. We're here to talk and enjoy the hobby and enjoy the differences that we have. Like, you guys like bassy sets, and I get to listen your songs. That's fine with me. And you hear me rambling. That's all it is in the hobby, and I enjoy the hobby for that. I enjoy the hobby because we hear things differently, and you can say your opinion, and I can say mine. Um, and I don't know, and maybe I validate your purchase or invalidate your purchase. So, so yeah. That's all I can say. And it's so hard to navigate. Like, I saw Mark's review. I saw Mark's no, video on the objectivist and the subjectivist. And those things are valid too, being objective and being subjective. Maybe the best thing is really to be in between. Like, too objectivist, I don't think I'm too objectivist, Like, too objectivist is like just dismissing everything. Too subjective as well is like they don't have like the so being in the middle is the best way in this hobby. But even after that, like, the best way to be in this hobby, to navigate, is really just to enjoy. Like, if you're in the US, Amazon is as a great tool to, like, if you don't like it, maybe you can return it, which is valid. Because if you're in other countries like, Japan or Singapore, people have more opportunity to to audition. So, which is good. And one reason why this hobby is booming is because the lack of what? um the lack of access on hearing stuff. Like everyone's just 90% of people are just blind buying stuff, basing it on reviews on headphones and basing it on reviewers. Um yeah, and imagination. Yes. 90% objectivist is perfect. I know, and the Kupler thing too. I know the Kupler thing too is and I've already expressed this before. Measuring is also very personal. And what I mean by that is every Kupler is different. And I saw your video on that, Dracomes, that you pointed it out that it's not even accurate because everyone just measure it differently. Um, and I openly expressed my concern about that because it's another variable. Like how is it even objective that mics are not consistent? You know, it's not. If we put this into like a literature, we already failed. We already failed because we don't have a consistent data. I mean, it's objective on paper, but if we really go strict, like science strict, like writing a research paper, it's already failed because there is no consistency. We already failed the consistency. So it sounds objectivist with graph, like, oh, this graph, stuff like that. But if you really dig into like if you really want it like hard evidence science, it's useless. It's useless because every mic, it's not consistent. Okay, and so my so I going back to my topic, not the topic, going back to my point that measuring is also subjective. I know how my Kupler reacts to my ears, kind of. I use foams because I'm against silicones. I feel like silicones increases the frequency too much, and then our ears are the what's this one? Our ears cushion treble, okay? So they don't attenuate treble. They don't attenuate treble. They cushion out treble. And so I feel like foams do that. It mitigates the treble a little bit. It goes down because for me that sounds natural. And so that's why I'm consistently using foams. For me, if I use silicones, it it um it creates those high peaks, and when I listen to it, it doesn't match what I hear. For me, it's a little bit lower, and so that's why I'm leaning more on the foam measuring than silicones. So again, going back to my point that measuring is personal, and I think I have to be open about that every video, but I understand your point. I totally understand your point. Um, yeah. No, he's not. He's not the same Adam. He's not the same Adam. He's not the same Adam. But anyhow, about measuring, it's fun to measure stuff, but again, I would probably, I don't know, like again with Mark Squig, I already know his measurements. Sometimes they don't match with mine. His coupler has a tendency to lower down 5 to 6K peaks, or sometimes his coupler has a tendency to has an elevation around 2 3K or something. But really with measuring. This is how I look at. Okay, this is how I look at graphs. Okay, this is the safest way to look at graphs. Okay, this is my suggestion, and this will work with any graph. Okay, so how do I look at graphs? I look at the base gain. Okay, I count. So you want to see the lowest point, which is the lowest point in my squig is usually around 60. Okay, and so I count here to the highest. So that's 60, 65. So that's around 13 dB of bass. Okay, and then I count also the highest peak. All right, and we see there the highest peak is around here. So looking at the graph, okay, you are going to infer that this is probably gonna be a bit of a bassier set. Not a lot of peaks. Let me just remove this one in here. Oh, no, not that one. Not a lot of peaks and maybe some treble energy in there, okay? This is the safest way to look at graphs. It's really just a balance on the bass and the treble, okay? If you look something like the Arc, all right, the Pula Arc, you would notice that, yeah, there's more mid-bass on the Arc. I would EQ that. So yeah, that's really what you can only see from the graph. It's really just a balance on the bass. Unfortunately, you cannot see technicalities in there. You cannot see bass texture in there. There's a lot of missing things in the graph. So all I can see is really just a balance, a little bit of treble energy in there. And I'm hearing this when I try the NX8. So there's a little bit of bass emphasis in there. Very natural, everything. A little bit of boost in the upper treble. And that's it. It's really just the tonality. It's really just the balance on the sound. And when you look at the hexa, compared to the hexa, you would see that the hexa is probably leaner, right? You see there that the hexa is leaner. The NX8 is much fuller in the bass. The hexa also has a peak there around 3 to 4K, and some energy in 8K. On the hexa, it's real. So cymbals can sound really, really thin. So hexa here is just thinner in sound compared to the NX8. So only that, like very straightforward graph reading. Not a lot of flowery words. That's it, like just look at the graph at face value. That's the safest way to read graphs. Just really look at it at face value. You're right. Bass texture can be that way too. Yes. But in my case, I hear passive radiator doing texture, so I really like the SimGot EA1000 for that. That bass is just, I don't know, man. Like it's hard to describe the passive radiator on EA1000. It's with the okay, try this out, Dracomi. So I know you record your voice. Try to increase 12K to 15K. If you increase those areas, your voice is gonna sound a little bit grittier and lighter. And if you lower down, like maybe 10 dB on 15K, you will notice that your voice is gonna sound a little bit huskier. So everything is relative when you. So for me, I don't really hear 15K or 13K. I don't hear them, but they can affect. For me, they can affect the harmonics on cymbals. And so when I listen to cymbals, yeah, it's just a little bit different in timbre. So it's not like hearing it, but it alters the timbre on your voice, and it alters the timbre on some instruments, and that's how I catch those. That's how I catch those frequencies. I don't really hear them, but I look at how it affects instruments and how it affects voice. Try to do that in your DAW. If you have a DAW, yeah, it's and that's how. And so it's interesting also that if there are like peaks past 10K, the bass appears tighter, like they're really tight, because I think the bass hits, I mean, the fundamentals on the bass kick drum is of course in the lower frequencies, but if you increase the higher frequencies, it has that like tightness to them. But at the same time, although the bass is tight, but it takes a toll on some cymbal strikes and some harmonics, so it boosts them. So yeah, yes, you can do that. Put that in the recording. Increase the frequencies in every. So you want to do the fundamentals, maybe target 300, 1K, and that's a good experiment because you're used to that. You're what's that? Like, I didn't know you had like, what was that? Like a voice actor in that's cool, dude. Was it in Target? That's cool. You sounded different on that ad. And I know, yeah, you can show that. That is gonna be very, very helpful for your viewers. Like when you look at the graph, you kind of like copy what's on the graph. You see like, oh, there's an elevation here in the 6K, and you elevate your voice to 6K, and this is what's gonna happen to my voice if I elevate that, which is a good experiment. I don't have the equipment to do that, but you have the equipment to do that. So it's a good experiment in your end because you're more well versed on that, like EQing voice and how you can go that. You're probably the only person who can do that. If you go that route, that is probably one of your best strengths when you try to EQ your voice and match the graphs on the IM and try to mimic it. You're probably the only reviewer who is going to do that. And that's probably a good idea. Good idea. You're probably include that in your, like ranking. What was that you're ranking? Like the bass or something. You can include that. That's nice. I'm looking forward to that. I'm actually excited to do that because right now we're seeing some actual data. How does this IM sound if I boost this area right here? Because for me, it sounds boosted. So that is going to be a very, very compelling data. And I know, not a lot of reviewers can do that. You're probably the only reviewer who's a voice actor who is well versed in mixing. So yeah. I guess that's it for today, guys. Really, thank you. I don't have time to do the Geek World. I'll probably do it next week. I have the binary 1900s coming, so I'll do that with this one next week. I'm gonna see Adam today to return his QOA sets and maybe try out this one's in here. Thank you so much, guys. Really appreciate the time. It's been really fun. I'm looking forward to Dracome's video on increasing EQ bands relative to the graph and see how it changes his voice. Really interested to for that. So yeah, see you guys. Have a great day, and thank you so much. Really appreciate your time. Have a great day, and bye for now.